I would like to talk today about the best times to visit Disney World in 2018. When this goes up, it is the end of 2017, so lots of people are making plans for next year and trying to figure out the best time to go to Disney World. We also did just publish a new crowd calendar, so this is sort of to convey that information in a different format and help explain some of our sort of methods behind it. And so let's get into it. First of all, I want to talk sort of about the history of Disney World crowds because a lot of things have changed. When I first started a site 5.5 years ago, my very first crowd calendar had a lot of green areas. So green is what I use to represent light crowds, and it had a lot of green areas on it. But Disney is masterful at plugging those less busy times. So a lot of things have changed in the last few years. One of those is that Disney likes to plug Run Disney races and cheer competitions into the times that used to be less busy. So if you went several years ago and you decided that springtime was a great time to go, you might want to recheck just to see how things have changed since then. School schedules have also changed a lot. It used to be that spring break was thought of as really busy, summer was thought of as really busy. But things have changed a lot in that fall breaks are the new spring break. I mean, there obviously is still spring breaks, but I would say fall breaks, particularly around Columbus Day, are actually much busier, or at least very similar to spring breaks that are near Easter. So that has been a big change because in the past, we used to be able to think of October as a very unbusy time to go. In fact, about 10 or 11 years ago, Disney used to run promotions to get people to come to Disney World, and they would advertise like specials for toddlers, because if the kids were in school and couldn't come, they would advertise for the toddlers. And I went and took my son. So it didn't used to be like that, but school schedules have really evolved over the years, which has changed Disney crowd patterns. Summer used to be really busy, but the last couple of years, it hasn't been very busy at all. And the type of people that go in the summer tend to be a little different too. Travel agencies, usually their bookings are much lighter in the summer, even though there are people going obviously in the summer, but they don't necessarily plan 6 months in advance. It's a little bit more casual. And Disney has also released ticket prices they vary depending on the date. And so going in the summer is a little more expensive if you were just sort of casually showing up and going for a day. So summer, although still, busy, is not nearly as busy as it used to be. So I want to talk about the crowd calendars and how we put them together just to kind of give you the mindset, because it's not just, wild guessing. We spend weeks and weeks pulling information together. As you might guess, since I just talked so much about school calendars, that is the source of a lot of data. We have dozens and dozens of school districts that we plot on one giant calendar, and we try to see how they line up, because sometimes we see things that are surprising. Like, for instance, the week after Easter is often not busy. And historically, if you were putting together a Disney World crowd calendar and you just wanted to kind of, repeat the same patterns every year, you would say the week before Easter, week after Easter. But when we started plotting the school calendar data, we realized that sometimes those dates that you think are going to be busy really aren't, because it kind of just depends on how the holidays fall and what the school districts decide. So we use that as our biggest source of information for our crowd calendars. Second, we use Disney's Run Disney race dates, because that definitely creates a huge surge. They sell out. The Run Disney races sell out, so it brings in tons of people. They're very popular. So that has changed a lot and does make things busy for the weekend, and sometimes a little busy the day before and after the weekend. Thirdly, the competition dates. There are lots of cheer and dance competitions, and there's Pop Warner in December. So those definitely have an impact, particularly if you're staying at a value resort. I really wouldn't be too concerned about competition dates unless you're staying at a value resort, particularly All-Star Sports, although sometimes the other value resorts are affected as well. Fourth, we consider history. We know how things have worked at Disney World for a very long time. And so we sort of use our own knowledge and, how things have gone over the years. And finally, of course, holidays. And the biggest holiday that can really change things is Easter. Because, if Easter is early, then obviously that's going to impact, spring break crowds. If it's later, it's kind of tricky, but Easter floats so much that it can really affect how things go in March and April. So because our calendars are so heavily dependent on school calendars, we have crowd calendars that are based on the school year. So we had one that we put out for 2017, 2018. So that one goes from August 2017 to July 2018. And then just this week, we have the 2018, 2019 crowd calendar that, as you may have guessed, it goes August 2018 to July 2019. We used to do it by year. That's sort of a traditional way to do crowd calendars. But this way allows us to do it in a way that uses the most amount of data and gives us a good timing. Cause like right now we were able to put it together in December because we have enough school calendars to do that. And it gives you about an 8-month lead before the August date kicks in. If you want to see the calendars, you can click on the links in the description, but you can also, if you want to go there right now, wdwprepschool.com/2017-2018 is the first one. And the second one, the newest one, is wdwprepschool.com/2018-2019. And those are the numbers, 2018, 2019. So finally, let's just get into the best times to go to Disney World in 2018, according to me. First of all, the end of January after Martin Luther King weekend and early February. This is actually probably my favorite time to go to Disney World because the weather is so mild that it makes it just pleasant. You're not sweating the whole time. It's not nearly as difficult to go all day if you don't want to take an afternoon break. It is definitely my favorite. The downside is that Disney does close more things during this time. You know, they more likely do refurbishments, and a water park is usually closed. So that's the downside. But if you want mild temperatures and low crowds, end of January, early February is usually a good bet. Secondly, the first week of March this year before spring break crowds arrive. It doesn't always work out that the first part of March is less busy. In fact, in 2019, the crowd calendar that we just put out, March is more busy because of, I think, competitions, and I can't remember what else affects that. But first week of March before spring break crowds arrive is a great time to go. And these two time periods that I've mentioned, end of January, early February, first week of March, these are really mild temperature times right before it warms up. So if heat is a concern, these would be my two recommendations. The third time period I'd recommend if you want warmer weather but lighter crowds is end of April and then the first part of May, the first few weeks of May. Now this is perfect for people that want to visit the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot when it's so pretty. If you want warm weather that allows you to swim, this is perfect. It's really just a fantastic time of year to go to be able to do all of it. Fourthly, and lastly is September after Labor Day. Now Labor Day is actually not too busy compared to other holidays because I think people are just not getting back to school and so they're not going on vacation. But September after Labor Day in 2018 should be pretty easy to do. And again, this is not always the case. I mean, it's never super busy, but sometimes there are fall breaks scheduled, but we're just not seeing that for 2018. We're not seeing those fall breaks until October. So those are my 4 recommendations. You might have been expecting more than that, but the truth is that after September, that it gets very busy with not only fall breaks, but the holidays, and so it doesn't, and there's races, so it really doesn't let up until January again. So if you want to go in fall, September would be my pick. And also, if you were a person who's interested in free dining, the dates have been scaled back a lot over the years. It used to be kind of all fall you could get free dining, and now they have like completely omitted October because, as I told you, fall breaks are a thing. And so if you're going September, you have a lot better chance of being able to take advantage of promotions like free dining because they offer promotions when crowds are lighter. So I hope that helps. If you are in the middle of planning a trip, be sure to check the description for the full crowd calendar so you can get all the information, including average temperatures, when hurricane season is, and that sort of thing. Thanks for joining.